Good morning, YouTube. This is Johnny. I thought I'd make a video, just stop by. It is April the 1st, 2021. It is 11:27 in the morning here in West Michigan. And I'm sitting in my usual spot in the dining room, writing in my diary on April the 1st, 2021. I'm on page 342 this morning in the year 2021, and I'm reading for morning devotions, Looking into Jesus by Isaac Ambrose, and I am reading Lafany of Saxony, The Life of Jesus Christ, Part 1, Volume 1, Chapters 1 through 40. I'm almost done with this. I've read 657 pages. I got it ends on 782. So I'm really been blessed by reading that and looking at the gospel narratives on the life of the Lord Jesus Christ. Right now we're on the Sermon on the Mount, and we were dealing with, he was talking about, Jesus forbids oaths. That was it. Marriage is sacred and binding. And then he goes into go the second mile. Love your enemies. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven, for he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward have you? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet your brethren only, what do you do more than others? Do not even the tax collectors do so? Therefore you shall be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. And then we go into Matthew chapter 6 of the Sermon on the Mount in the Gospel of Matthew. So yeah, I'm reading, looking into Jesus, and I thought I would just read a little bit of what I just read. And he's talking about conforming ourselves unto the Lord Jesus Christ. And he says, look at the conversation of Christ. That's his way of life. In word and deed, for his words, they were gracious. Not an idle word ever came out of the lips of Christ. Himself tells us that of every idle word we must give an account. Matthew 12, verse 36. Oh, then, how free was Christ of every idle word. He knew the times and seasons when to speak and when to be silent. He weighed every word with every circumstance, time and place, and manner and matter. Ecclesiastes 3, verse 7. There is a time to keep silence and a time to speak, said Solomon. When he returned again to his wisdom, and hence we read that sometimes Jesus, being accused, he held his peace, and when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Matthew 26, verse 63. And chapter 27, verse 12. But other times he pours out whole cataracts of holy instructions. He takes occasions of vines, of stones, of waters, and sheep to speak a word in season. He is still discoursing of the matters of the kingdom of heaven. He speaks such words as give grace unto all the hearers around about him. So his deeds and actions, they were full of grace and gladness, grace and goodness. The Apostle Peter gives him this character, which I look upon as a little description of Christ's life, who went about doing good, Acts 10, verse 38. It was his meat and drink to do all the good he could. It was natural to him to do good, as it is for a fountain to stream out. He was holy and heavenly, unspotted in every way. Oh, the sweet conversation of Christ! How humbly carries he among men, how benignly towards his disciples, how pitiful was he towards the poor, to whom, as we read, he made himself most like, 2 Corinthians 8:9. He became poor that we might be rich. He despised or abhorred none, no, not the very lepers that were eschewed of all. He flattered not the rich and the honorable. He was most free from the cares of the world. His prescriptions were, care not for the things of the morrow. And he himself, he was never anxious of bodily needs. Above all, he was most solicitous of saving souls. Much more I might add if I could go over the particulars in the gospel. But by these few expressions of Jesus Christ, we may conceive of all the rest. So I really have been enjoying reading, looking into Jesus by Isaac Ambrose, and reading the gospel, reading the Sermon on the Mount and the Gospel of Matthew, writing in my diary on the first day of April 2021. Hope you had a good reading week. Thank you for the comments. I still haven't shown those thrift store books that I got last week. And so I'll sign off, and until next time, bye.